Welcome back to Burnout Brighter and our amazing collaboration with Level 1 Gaming for Black History Month. Guys, this has been such an amazing experience, and just working with you and having you come on and tell us about what you feel about Black History Month and why it's important to you and where you want to see gaming go for people of color in general. But most importantly, I want to take a minute to focus on Level 1 Gaming and what they're doing for Black people in the gaming industry and kind of like what you guys want to move. Well, how you guys are moving and accomplishing things that you want to do moving forward. But before we do that, let me just introduce Darren because I almost forgot to introduce you. And I'm so sorry because it's been Matt and Matt always gives me a look like so
No, I'll just sit
guys,
here
today
politely. I'll just, I won't say
I
anything.
just want to introduce my lovely co-host, Darren. Thank you for coming on. I know
Hello,
you have a
hello.
really busy schedule, but I'm really happy to have you here with us on this episode. And
And
while we're at
I also want to extend a huge, huge, huge thank you again to Fame and Dallas for being here. We appreciate you guys so much. So thank you so much.
well, since he already said
Wow.
their names, this is Fame and this is Dallas from Level 1 Gaming, who are basically like our big brother. And I know we kind of talked a little bit about like how Burnout Brighter is going to be working more closely with them, but obviously this is not the place. But we will have another video where we'll just kind of get together and tell you guys exactly what we plan on doing. So stay tuned for that because it's going to be exciting. We got some great content coming out. But since this one is about Black History Month and why it's so special to us, I'm going to start with Fame. Fame, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what Level 1 Gaming is doing for the Black community?
Yeah, well, I am Fame ENT, also known by Dallas as Famous Entertainment 2000. But I am David Whitaker. I am a co-founder and CEO of Level One Gaming. We are a minority-owned and operated gaming media website, and we believe in inclusivity, and we want to give people an opportunity to be a part of gaming journalism. We give a lot of people who may be underrepresented in the gaming space and opportunities to let their face be known in the gaming industry. We are Black owned and run, but we have everyone from white, Black, Hispanic, people living in Puerto Rico, all over the place who are on our team at Level One, who just wanted a chance to let their voice be heard. And I believe that a lot of us, if I'm just going to stick it just to us, the Black people, our voice seemed very compressed in gaming journalism. And this is no shade to other publications, but when I look and I see them on Twitter and other spaces, I don't see us. I feel like we're very, very underrepresented. And I wanted to create something along with my team to say, hey, if you're looking for a space to at least try, Level One is a space for you. Come in and see how you like it. If you don't like it, you can move on, but at least someone gave you an opportunity to try to be in gaming journalism without them basing things off of your previous history or maybe the way you look, which is a big issue that we have in the gaming space. We want to give people opportunities, so not just Black people, people of color, anyone really. If you look for the opportunity, Level One is creating a space for you, especially for the people who are misrepresented, underrepresented, um, whether it's race, sexuality, anything of that nature. Everyone at Level One Gaming is very welcoming, and we want you to come in and have an opportunity to be who you are, shine bright as possible. Our Phoenix, our logo is a Phoenix, and
And it's there
she
for a reason, for real.
yeah, she shines bright, and she just wants everyone to see it as a beacon of light and an opportunity.
And it's one of those situations of not talking about it but being about it. Because as much as we like to talk, and I don't know if you can really hear me, but as much as we like to talk about people gatekeeping and we wish it was like this and we wish it was like that. I mean, you could do that all day, and those are good and necessary conversations to have. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
And Level One is partially born out of that.
I love that. I love that because as you were talking, I was like, we do hear a lot about it, like, oh, we want to add more diversity and da 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 da. And I think being a Black person and realizing that you've had to fight your way to get to a certain point, we have opened up a lot of doors for other people of color, and we continue to do that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Level One Gaming is a perfect example of being like, we're Black owned, but we're welcoming everybody
Mm-hmm.
because we believe in diversity. We believe in what we're saying. And I know when I started working with you guys, like, I was just like, I kind of want to get into narrative design. And you gave me a chance. And it wasn't even, it wasn't something I was nervous about it, but like after coming in, I would have to say that the Level One Gaming family is one of the warmest places that I have ever been. And it's such an amazing experience to work with people who you respect and also respect you,
Mm-hmm.
especially despite your color, despite your background, your sexuality. None of these things should really be the focus of the integrity of your work. And I think
Uh-huh.
that's something that you guys really push forward to everybody. Talking to you, talking to Baron, talking to Floor Hugger, Dallas, we haven't talked as much, but I know that you're on the same level. And I think that's incredible. So jumping over to Dallas, kind of, can you tell me a little bit about what you do in Level One Gaming, and kind of why you think it's so important to push forward with the way that things are going right now?
Well, I'm the comic relief. Not that I think I'm funny or anything. It just happens that way. I say stuff. Nah, but okay. So I'm content director, which um does usually mean managing content and what we do with it, looking at analytics, deciding what course of action we can take or how to best present what it is we do to the rest of the world. But it also involves once again not talking about it, being about it. That's a running theme that you'll see a lot. So I also get my hands dirty and I make stuff and I make more of what I want to see, because people, the industry basically, especially in games media in particular, and especially amongst us in particular, we kind of make the same stuff. Like everybody's interested in the same stuff, and everybody kind of has their heroes in this, and they follow them, and they do what they did. And I make what I want to see, and so I
Right,
hope that and I have my heroes too. I have my people that I like, but I don't exactly emulate them, but I try to carry that energy, that stuff that I really liked from them, that spark that I felt on into another piece of content. And even in our normal stuff, we try to make it so that you kind of feel our personality in it. You kind of feel the soul of it.
Right.
Um, and so partially leading by example in that, but just kind of to answer your question, because before I go on a tangent about just making content, um, it's really just like trying to make us look and sound good and trying to find a way to present us to the public in a way that kind of shows who we actually are.
right. And I think
Can
that's
I?
important. Go ahead,
No,
Baron.
I just
Oh, Matt Fame. I'm sorry.
no, I just want to interject in just for a moment because I have since I've known Dallas, I never feel like he gives himself enough credit and enough shine for who he is as a person and as a talent. Dallas, in a lot of ways, is brings me out of my shell of my conformity because I look up I say all the time I feel like a lot of times I'm in a suit and tie and I got everybody else behind me in basketball. Basketball the coolest image, right? But I feel like I have to be buttoned up a lot. And Dallas makes me unbutton my button a little bit. Like he makes me take the belt off,
I get it.
switch from the slack to some Jordans, right? Because Dallas is he is such a good heart and he is so freaking talented and everything about him is so honest and real. And we've been through so much together from being different conventions and being up all night and not being able to sleep and eating cold food because we're wanting to make some dope content. And I just wanted to take another opportunity because Dallas doesn't talk about himself as I think he should. But when I tell you, not just creating side when you see him on his face, but musically, Dallas is one of the most talented people you will ever meet. And when we're growing Level One, I can't wait to see his name on a Times billboard because when I tell you he's talented and he is the if I'm the statue of Level One, Dallas is the heart of it. He is the heart of level one. He is our soul. He is the soul of level one, and we don't function as being ourselves, as being our true selves. That doesn't happen without Dallas, because he is someone who is so true to himself that you can't help but to rub off on you. So I just wanted to give my man some shine, because he doesn't shine. He doesn't let himself shine, but I want to let him know how important he is, not only to level one, but to me.
If that's not what
Aw,
true
Man,
love is,
I
I
that's
don't
what
appreciate
know
that.
friends
what
are
is.
for. Yeah, if that's not love, I don't want it. But guys, that no, that I definitely feel like that. I feel like that towards like my co-hosts like Darren and Matt. And so I definitely echo your feelings about Dallas. And I hope that like you and I, Dallas, can get to know each other better and not just through like passing. You know what I mean? Because I think
Yeah.
you're all incredibly talented. I think you're all very, very important. And the fact that you were able to pull this together and to see where level one is now is incredible. Coming into this and not knowing that there was a Black owned gaming site that reported on the news, I was floored. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then when I looked at it, it's so well done. The presentation is immaculate. It's so good. And I talk about you guys all the time. I'm all like, oh yeah, I'm writing at level one game. I don't do that much, but the site is amazing. You guys gotta go check it out. Like you guys are doing such a good job. So kudos to both of you and everybody else who might watch this. Everybody else, please go check out Level One Gaming. If you're a
Yes.
person of color, you need to go support them, okay? Because I'm saying we have so many, and this is not to throw shade, but we have a lot of gaming sites out there where we just aren't really a part of it. And I think our views matter. I
Mm-hmm.
think what we want to see matters. And I think we should be represented in a field that we're taking part of actively. We're putting money into the game industry. We need
Mm-hmm.
to see ourselves represented properly in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Level One Gaming is an amazing example of people who have decided that, hey, I don't see myself in it. I'm going to do what it takes to put myself in it so that other people can see that this is what we are, and inspire people of color who also want to get into the game industry the
Mm-hmm.
way you guys are doing it. So
And
I appreciate it.
whether the industry understands it or not, people like us actively look for true representations. They
Right.
like emphasis on that word, true representations
Absolutely.
of us. So it's one of those things where, and I hate that it took this, but until George Floyd was murdered, we didn't like we there wasn't really a push or a reason for the algorithm to push us together and to put us up in front of each other. And a lot of us became more discoverable. A lot of us, all of these
Absolutely.
like little pockets of people started to be visible to each other, and then we started all connecting through there. That's how Baron found us.
Mm-hmm.
That's how really that's how a lot of people found us, and that's how we found a lot of people. We didn't even know certain people were as big as they are and as they were, and we didn't really understand how possible it was for us. We just wanted to do it, and we were going to do it regardless. It was going to be
Mm-hmm.
pure tenacity, we thought.
Right.
But we didn't understand how like tangible it was until um we started seeing all of these other people that look like us, that sound like us, or that might not sound like us. That's just the spectrum of
Mm-hmm.
Black people.
And I think that's really important because I think for a lot of people in a lot of industries, because we don't see each other and we're working in these little pockets, we don't realize how many of us have the same common interest and the same common goal to get to a certain place. And like you were saying, like it's I was in Korea when the thing with George Floyd happened, but this has happened before. When the civil rights movement really kicked off, it was because of the beating of Emmett Till and his
Mm-hmm.
mother
Yeah.
having, the funeral with the open casket. And it's so sad that that's what gets us, but the silver lining of that is that's what gets us. Do you know what I mean? And now we're able to like push forward. And I mean, like that was worldwide. Like that was affecting
Yeah.
people all over the world. And I hate that it happened to him. I really do. And like rest in peace. And I hope his family and his daughter are doing well. But I'm
But what it
also go ahead, I'm sorry.
I want to let you finish that thought before I start.
I was just gonna say I'm happy that we were able to discover each other and come together. But yeah, I'm really tired of the say her name and say his name, and I hope that moving forward that we don't face any more like just brutal tragedies like that as people of color, because the PTSD is real from
Hmm.
having to see those
Yeah,
kinds of things. And that just, sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, but just, for all of the people out there who are listening who experience that, especially people of color, especially Black men, um, I absolutely feel for you. And as a Black female, having Black brothers and cousins and my father, like, um, we are going to survive. We've always survived. We will always
that's
fight.
true.
And this is level one is just another example of how we're doing it and how we
Hmm.
will continue to do it. So yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Dallas. You wanted to say something?
Well, I was gonna mention something, and I already kind of see the emotions bubbling, and I don't think I should. So
No, please. No,
I
no,
won't.
no, no. Say it. Say it. Say it.
Um, so like we've all had our experiences, right? Just as people, as Black people, right? We've all had our, and I won't go into detail, but I've been walking down the street before, just like literally minding my business, going from this end of the street to this end of the street, and before I get to the middle, I've been stopped, detained. I don't know how you detain somebody in the back of the car, but with cuffs
Right.
on, but and detained and put in a position where I didn't know if I was going to make it home. And as Black men, we have one main responsibility, especially Black men with families. Our one big responsibility. It's crazy because this is above providing and protecting, because you can't do this if you don't. But our one main responsibility is to make it home at the end of the night.
Hmm.
Like the one thing we have to do, and so many of us don't. And like it puts something in you to where it's not whether you think it's going to be difficult or not, you just do it. You
Yeah.
just move forward, and you kind of don't even think about it until it becomes a topic of discussion, but you just do it.
It was
And
almost like you don't have any other choice. Do you know what I mean? Like you
yeah,
can't stay still.
Yeah.
that exactly. And like, not to tie something heavy to something so lighthearted, but level one kind of ran off that philosophy. We all worked for a separate site.
Hmm.
When we left that site, we decided we didn't want to stop working together. It wasn't really an option for us not to. So
Right.
it was built out of necessity. Like, all right, we want to do this. Of course, we got to build our own if we want to do it. So, however hard that's going to be, we didn't think about that part. We were just like,
Right.
we just moved forward. It didn't matter if it was going to be difficult or not. We
Hmm.
just did it with no real thought for the trials and tribulations that was to come, because it's trials and tribulations and everything.
Right.
We knew we wanted to be together, and where we weren't being heard. We were looked at as the redheaded stepchildren of the organization.
The
Right.
black
And
sheep, pun
so,
intended.
yeah, the black sheep, yeah, we really were. So we decided to leave, and we were so close knit. Shout out to Demigod, who unfortunately he was another co-founder, owner of Level One Game, and he passed away. um he was part of the team of us who decided to go out and make our own thing. And like Dallas said, it just we out of necessity, we had to do our own thing, because it wasn't join something else. It was, okay, there's a void of people like us and what we do and how we think. And mind you, at level one, we don't all agree or think the same way. The public will never know. We argue, we fight like brothers and sisters. We fight, we argue, we disagree. I don't think that's right. I think this is right. You should do this. We should do that. We argue, but we argue because we have the same goal. And even though we might have a different idea of what the path look like, they're not so different to where the goal can be reached at the exact same time.
Right. That's incredible. I'm proud of you guys. I don't
Yeah.
know how often you hear it, but like just being a Black female and looking at Black men who are trying to accomplish something and putting in the work and the effort, like I'm so very proud of you that you haven't like given up, because I know it's hard and it's
It can be
so
hard.
easy. It's so easy to just give up and be another cog in the wheel. So I hope you know how incredible you are, and the incredible things that you're both doing. And I support you, and I know Burnout Brighter supports you.
Yes.
And we hope that we can help you reach the goals that you want to reach in the
We're
future.
gonna do amazing stuff together. Level 1 and Burnout.
Yeah.
We really are,
Yes.
and we see the people who support us, and we see the people who, are really see what we're trying to do. I always tell people a lot. Ryan McCaffrey at IGN, give him flowers every chance I get, because he's someone who gets it, and he's out here giving people like myself opportunities who he can see is underrepresented, and he allows us, like when I was on IGN, it was a surreal moment to be on that podcast for Podcast Unlocked. So I want people to know that you're going to hear us talk about Black owned, minority owned, but we see the people, we see you, like the people who are genuinely understand what we're going through and want to help. Like, we see you, like so even though you might not necessarily always get a thank you and a handshake, look at the nod. We'll give you one like that. We see you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if our head isn't down, or if you'll notice, I think it's funny, and I'm gonna move on. You'll notice how we are, because if you're walking down, if we nod you going down, we're protecting our throat, because you might cut our throat. If we nod you going up, our throat is showing. We see you, we respect you, we know you here, you're an ally of us. So kind of pay attention to that for people who are watching.
Oh yeah, that's funny you said that,
Yeah.
because we do that. Like, I do. When I was in Korea, this is funny tangent, but like I was with Natasha, who you guys don't know, but she's white. She's like a really good friend of mine. And so we were out and about, and I guess we saw like maybe 2 or 3 Black people. And so whenever we would see each other, we'd be like, like recognize, like, I see you, you
I
see
see
me,
you.
right?
Mhm.
And she was like, why do you do that every time you see a Black person? And I was like, you know what? I don't even know. It's just
It's
in me to do
instinctual.
it. It's just
Yeah.
instinct. When we
Yeah.
see each other, especially when we're not amongst a lot of other people of color, you know what I mean? It's like, I got you, you got me. It's just
Yes.
automatic.
If I see
So
you
if you
take
ever
off
see
running,
it,
I know to take off running.
yes. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, it's a running joke.
We
But when we
don't
see,
ask questions. If we
no,
see a Black person take off, we're running in the same direction. Yo, there's this hilarious video where they did that. And this Black dude came running out of the college, and they were like, and then just all the Black people were, I don't know what is
don't
going
know
on,
what's
but we
going on.
out. It was
Yeah.
great, because that's what we do.
We instinctively do things, and what's we're laughing, but a lot of it's based
Yeah,
off of
but for real,
trauma.
yeah, it
A
is.
lot of it's based in trauma that we've either gone through, or we've had family members that gone through. But for the
It is.
people
It's
who
true.
are supporters, white, Black, Asian, just know that we see you and we appreciate you, and we know that we got people that's on our side in this fight to be represented and to be seen and to be heard. So thank you.
That was great. All right, so going into our next question, I'm gonna throw it over to Dallas. Where do you want to see people of color, Black men, women in general, in the future of gaming? Like, what's something, like the one thing that you think is really important that you want to see? Whether it be just more of us in gaming, or more of us like sitting at the table making decisions. Like,
Well, yeah, the sitting at the table making decisions part, I think that's sort of a given. We talk a lot about equity and inclusion, and I do think we need to have more of those equity conversations and what that really looks like, and how that actually does benefit the culture as a whole. Because anything that we've done that's really meant anything, it's really been for the culture as a whole. It's been for the love
right.
of it, right? There's a reason that it was so celebrated, whether or not you like any of these people, that Dr. Dre put together the lineup for the
Yeah,
Super Bowl halftime show, right?
absolutely.
Right.
There's a reason that was such a big deal. I tripped out seeing Snoop Crip walk at the Super Bowl.
That was wild.
Hey.
That was wild.
When I heard Kendrick go with Pyrus and Crips, all got along. I'm like, they let him do that song? How? How did that happen? And like, listen, like I'm trying not to get excited, because like I'm passionate about this subject though, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel a pressure to be a certain way, and I shouldn't.
Oh.
And people like me feel a pressure to be a certain way. So the thing that I want to see happen is whole. It is not going to be everybody, but I want to see us be able to wholly be accepted as we are, right? because I don't want to see us. The lucky ones get it. Like the lucky ones don't have to worry about it. Not being funny when I say this, but I
No,
mean
I
what I'm
know
saying.
exactly what you're talking about.
So like you, Des, you don't have to worry about this. You look presentable to what people think presentable is. You speak a certain way. And even though people like me might make fun of you for how you speak, it's
They
all
do.
love. We just like
I was
roasting.
I was like,
That's
I
just
get made fun of a lot. A
that's
lot
it.
by the way I speak, but I know sometimes it's out of love and sometimes it's out of like self-hatred and colorism, which
Yeah.
is a whole
Yeah.
nother
Yeah.
topic. But like you can tell when somebody's making fun of you like kid sister and when somebody is just like down on you. But I do get what you're saying.
Mhm.
And people they'll see your locks as unprofessional. They not. They you. Like they'll see if you say, like, you know how many times I in a sentence with no I'm talking about? Like I'm from Texas, that's what we do. And it's
Mm,
not just a black thing, it's a Texas thing, but just you cannot be wholly yourself. I felt like I needed to take my do-rag off before I went on somebody else's platform. I shouldn't have to feel like that. And I know you don't mind. I know you don't mind it. But I know that the eyes on me might. And I'm not particularly doing it for that reason. I'm just making the point.
right,
Uh, we shouldn't have to feel like we have to choose isn't over ain't, even though other people use that to sound like us
right,
and it's accepted.
right,
Like I want to see, and at that point, that's when the dominoes all fall. That's at that point, that's when we don't have to worry about real black representation in video games. That's when we don't have to um wait until Samuel L. Jackson is in a movie to see real black people, like or Denzel, or it doesn't have to be one of them, right?
mm.
That's when everything else I feel will fall in line if, as a whole, there's more acceptance of in game. I'm sorry, I know I'm on a tangent, but in
No,
gaming in particular, right? Because as diverse and inclusive as we claim to be, we not like we love black people, except the hood ones, except the ones that scare you a little bit. And nobody's trying to scare you. Like nobody's. It's not like that.
this is just who I am
We
walking down the
just it's
street. Like I'm not
yeah.
posing a threat or anything like that. And I
The
get
demeanor
you.
is a certain way.
That
I
is
get
such
you
an
on that.
interesting
And like,
point. Oh my god, because like when you think about, and it's not something I previously considered, but yeah, you think about like there is growing black representation in terms of black characters in video games, but how many of them are actually, you know, how many of them are not sanitized to some capacity?
You love CJ in GTA in San Andreas, right? And when you
right.
really look at his character, he's just a normal dude. It's like it's the boys in the hood thing, right? He was a
Mhm.
normal dude, but his
Yeah.
environment was what it was, right? And then of course they had to play it up a little bit. They had to exaggerate. There had to be the caricatures there. But CJ as a character by itself, he was a normal dude, right? And you love him on GTA. You know what I mean? Like you
Mhm.
love what's this dude name? Lamar, GTA
Yeah.
5. You love him, but
In that atmosphere, people
in
love
that
him in
Oh well,
atmosphere,
that
yeah, because that
atmosphere.
but
atmosphere it's not threatening to you. But
but
Mhm.
also,
his actor,
I'm tired of seeing black people represented from a white person's point of view, which is why I don't really like GTA personally. I know people love that game. People are going to come for me, whatever. Me personally, we are so much more than Boys in the Hood and Juice and all of that shit. And not that that's not a part of our culture, because it is, right? Because there's varying layers of who black people are, but I'm just kind of tired of that being the representation. Just like I'm tired of like only light-skinned black women being the representation of what is considered beautiful in the industry. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I know what you're talking about when you say
shout out
like
Regina
you
King.
would be accepted, but like on another level, I'm too dark. Do you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it just, and I think a lot of that has to come from, we have to start learning to love ourselves as
Ourselves.
well, and being proud of who we are and accepting all of us, right? Because we definitely have some black people who are gatekeeping. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
that's a another conversation. We won't get into it, but
Mhm.
while we're
And that could be part
fighting,
of it.
yeah,
You want
that's
to have the
definitely
ones
part of
that
it.
that look that seem
That looks slightly
professional,
presentable,
because
right?
that it's cool to have that black scent when you're not black, but if
Right.
you sound a certain way when you are, I
Absolutely.
don't know.
Absolutely. So I think in the future we need to work towards there are stereotypes, but
Mm-hmm.
kind of get rid of the ignorance that is behind the stereotype and the idea of what it is, because I feel like the way that these stereotypes have come about, it's not that they're not based in some truth, but the way they've been misrepresented and in media is part of the issue as
Mm-hmm.
well. So yeah, I agree with you. I think like we definitely need to be having these talks at the table, but also what I think is important is we need to create our own for our own. And that's why I love level one gaming so much, as in moving into the future. Um, that's what I want to see. Like, I don't need to have a conversation with Jared or Bob or whatever. I'm just throwing out names, guys. So please don't come for me. Have conversations with
Bob's
them.
sending an email right now. You
Right? He's
got to
already
be
Shout
typing
out to
it. You
Jared and
got
Bob.
me messed up. But I don't want to have conversations with them to produce what we want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I hope like in the future we are, because level one gaming doesn't have to have a conversation with other news, producers or anybody else to put out what they want to see. And I think that's really important. I think that's important moving forward in the game industry, and for those people who are at the top right now to not be afraid to represent us the proper way because they don't think they're going to get the sales. Because
One of those
listen,
things, sorry, one of
no, go
those things
ahead.
that's going to get proven through this whole thing, and that they're gonna see through us and Burnout and a few other outlets and a few other people that we know that happen to operate in the same space at the same time, is one thing that I used to say back when I was in music. It's enough money out here for everybody.
Yes.
We can actually
It's true.
exist in the same space, and something good about me is not going to automatically mean something bad about you.
Right.
Yeah.
Me doing
That's so
something
important.
won't stop the opportunity for you.
We got to
It's
stop holding these opportunities, like, you know what I mean? And exactly what you're saying. We have to stop doing that. Just because I am successful and you become successful doesn't mean that's going to lower my success rate. You know what I'm saying? So we need to like work together. We really need to work together. And that is my message to Black people in general. We really need to work together, because I feel like sometimes we do, but most oftentimes we can be really petty
Mm-hmm.
towards one another. And I think that kind of like messes up our growth moving forward. We just got to come together because we're amazing. We're magical. We're intelligent. We are so capable. We know that about ourselves. So we just need to do that together. And a lot of it comes from like the Jim Crow era and slavery, where they had that idea of like, slave master had like certain Black people who would like look over the other Black people, and that's still part of the PTSD that's going through our minds. And I mean, like, it's going to take a lot of work. Also, Black people, we
and
need to
there's
believe in
like
therapy. Just in
there's
general,
always,
we need to.
yes,
Yes, we need to
yes,
believe in therapy, and we need, because there's a lot of generational stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
still within us, and you can tell by the way we operate today.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'm get off my box, but
But you know what though? If I can add something to that, and I'll
yeah.
make this the last thing I say on this subject. But just as an observation to anybody listening that might hear this and feel away or think something, just as an observation, choose a celebrity, choose a Black celebrity, and look up, like follow their actual come up, and I guarantee you they came up with a group. I guarantee you there's two, three, four, five other people that's like minded. They're not even always Black. I mean, Jim Carrey was on The Living Color and he was white, but whatever. Like look at any one famous person. Look at Kevin Hart. Look at every last one of these people that you think about, and I'm mentioning comedians because it's more apparent with comedians. But look at anybody that's made it, quote unquote. Every last one of these people came up with the group. It was a group of people that all went for the same stuff. They shared opportunities within their circle. And if there was a chance to share an opportunity with somebody outside of it who could do something, they passed that to them. And then that person in turn passed them something whenever they could.
Mm-hmm.
Every single
Absolutely.
famous person you see has had this in common. There's always a circle, and they add to it as much as they possibly can, as long as whoever else is in it is working. And every single time it's because this person passed somebody the opportunity, and that person knew this person over here, so they dragged their cousin in here. Hey, help us out, and
Right.
it was a circle of hands helping each other.
No, that's
You
important.
don't think
I
you can
get
make it there without doing what they did.
Yeah. I get tired of the idea of people saying they were self-made. Nobody's self-made anymore.
Nope.
We
No.
always we always working with other people. People are always giving us opportunities, and yeah, you have people up here like, yeah, I did this all myself. Nah, I'm sure if we look further back, there were people there who
Yeah.
helped support you, who who were there for you, stayed up late night with you, listened to you run your comedy show. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we gotta recognize that too. But let's move on because we're running along. And guys, I could talk about this all day. You already know. But for our listeners, we tried to keep this short form. But I'm gonna jump back over to Fame, and I'm going to ask him to throw some knowledge our way with a historical Black person that he thinks is important that he wants to share with us.
The reason this person in particular is so important to me is a couple of reasons. One, it reminds us that a lot of the terrible things that happen to us, I mean, mentally it's still going and physically it's still going, right? But some of the more brutal things wasn't that long ago. For instance, Ruby Bridges is 67 years old. You wouldn't believe that by looking at some of the images of her in kindergarten and being escorted by federal agents because they're in black and white. You see these photos in black and white because they tried to make you believe this was long ago. However, the people who were yelling at Ruby, screaming out profanities as she tried to walk to school, those people are alive and voting because they're in their 80s.
Yeah.
They're not these people aren't long. I mean, a lot of them, yes, are long gone, but a lot of people are still alive, which is the reason why they don't want things like critical race theory thought, because they don't want to see mama and papa in books screaming at a kindergartner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's so important because she is someone who, again, she in Louisiana. She went to this school. She was the only Black student in kindergarten or first grade at the time, I believe. It might be kindergarten. And she was alone. There was one teacher there willing to teach her. A lot of people don't know that. They just know about her being there. She wasn't in class with the other white students. She was alone. She had lunch alone. She had breakfast alone. She was taught alone. And I think about that a lot, especially during times like this, because I don't like being alone. I feel like when I am, even like my wife, she's like, "Oh, I'm going to go out," and I'm like, "No, I want you here." It's like, "We're not doing anything." Yeah, but I kind of want you here. Um, but I think about a lot of times, especially during something like this, that this little girl was strong enough to be alone in this classroom, and then as she left class, she had grown adults scream to her that how her life wasn't important, and that the color of her skin is the reason why she shouldn't be there. This person is still alive today, and I don't think a lot of people really notice that impact, that this wasn't so long ago, and these people are still alive today, which gives a lot of credence to us, you know, being afraid of these certain people. Um, I walk my son down the street, and this woman, she can be the nicest woman in the world, but she's 93 years old. She most likely had a strong opinion about Ruby Bridges going to school with other white children, right? She's 90, 95 years old. She's older. She's 30 years older than Ruby Bridges. So she probably had a very, very strong opinion about this woman, this little girl, I'm sorry, going to school. I think what she did, not knowing at the time because she was a small child, was beyond inspirational, because a part of her had to know, like, I don't want to be here, but I have to. I'm doing something that I don't want to do, but I have to do it. And us as Black people, there's a lot of things that we don't want to do, but we need to do it. We have to do it, and that's motivation to move forward. I don't want to get up, and I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with that. Think about things that are important in life, like being integrated in a school that Ruby Bridges had to go through. She didn't want to do it, but she had to. The things that we do in life, even if they seem small on scale, can make ripple effects. And what this kindergartner did, surrounded by those 4 federal agents, even though she wasn't the first, it created ripple effects that are still standing and lasting until today. And I say this because if you need inspiration to make a chance and you're alone and you're by yourself, it doesn't negate the opportunity to do something to change the outlook or for someone else. And I still take it back to level one. It's just us. We're small. We're going to give an opportunity for someone in hopes to create those ripple effects. And I think more people need to recognize Ruby for what she did and realize this woman is still alive today, and to give her flowers, because though she may not have been the first, other people went to school with siblings. There were people, groups of 3, groups of 9. She was an army of 1. And what she did was beyond inspirational, even as a child. So if you're 30, you don't have an excuse. Sorry.
Oh,
Dope.
wow.
That was
That was
good.
well
Nah, that was
said.
real.
That was really well
That was
said.
solid. For real,
You
for
got
real.
Destiny crying over
Um,
here.
oh, because I was thinking about like my dad's her age. And so
Yeah.
my parents went through that too.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, all of our parents,
Yep.
probably, So, yeah, I couldn't even imagine today. I don't even know. And I think a lot of them knew it was a sacrifice, but they didn't really know that they were like changing the world
Those
for the better,
those
because
ripple effects.
when you're in it, and I can only imagine how scary that could be because she was so little.
Mm-hmm.
When you see those pictures and then you just have people yelling hateful things at you. And I remember, this is going to sound so messed up and I don't want you guys to take it the wrong way, but I remember just being so proud of who I was and how I looked. And then moving to the United States and people reacting to me in a negative way. Like, I just didn't understand that. And my dad moved us from Germany to Tennessee, very small town in Tennessee. And I remember feeling so much shame and not understanding why I felt shame. And that is a horrible thing to feel,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, you should be, but yeah, moving to America, I didn't know how different I was. And I feel like growing up in the USA, you were constantly fucking reminded
Yep.
that you're not white. Constantly reminded that you're not white. And that in itself is exhausting. And I tried to have a conversation where I was like, sometimes I'm just so tired. I'm so tired of being Black. And I was like, I don't want you to take this the wrong way because I love being Black. I love the way I look. But I am tired of having to defend who I am, what I'm capable of, because you're judging me something on something as stupid as the tone of my skin.
You
And
know,
yeah.
I, this is so funny because just yesterday, last night, me, a couple of my younger brothers, and a friend of mine were on Discord, just shooting the shit like we do. And my younger brother said something along the lines of, "Sometimes I just hate being Black." Something just like that. And my friend and me, we first he was the first one to jump on it. Like, my little brothers is like his little brothers, and he said, "No, you don't. No, you don't. You love being Black. You love being exactly what you are. You feel like there's too much benefit to it. You would, if you had to do it over, you wouldn't change that. I guarantee you this because I know you. Um, what you hate is the way the world reacts to what you are.
Exactly.
What you hate is the way that people treat you because of what's in you, because of the power you hold. But you love being Black. That's not it. Um, and it's funny how, like, just that one statement, Um, because especially considering he was really like immersed in that feeling at that moment. I like how that one statement kind of changed his perspective because it's true. Most of us, if not all of us, save for very particular circumstances, love what we are.
Yes.
We just don't like what it brings sometimes. And it's that thing of, I don't know how to put it, but I think sometimes it just feels like, is Batman the reason for these villains? Is his very presence attracting them and compelling them to do bad shit?
Right.
Or are they just like that? Or is a the fact that there may not even be an answer? These things just have to coexist. Um, but I wanted to say that just in case you still feel that way, you don't dislike being black. You love being black. You just, not to assume that I know how you feel, but I'm just saying, you don't dislike being black. You love who you are. You love what you are. You just hate the world's reaction to it.
I like that you put it that way. But it's true. Like, I think sometimes we don't have the words to explain how we're feeling, but it directly correlates to what I look like. So that's how I felt in that moment. All of that negative energy, all of these things that were happening, and this is when I was living in Korea, and all of these things were happening, was directly correlated to the fact that I was black. And it was like, man, I'm tired. I'm tired of having to have that fight all the time, to like people just assuming I'm angry and black, and you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much more to me, and I'm tired of them putting stereotypes on me. And I think that's what is exhausting. I love the way I look. I love my family. I would never change it. But sometimes it's exhausting. It's tired. You want to take a break.
And I can feel that because like as I got older, as I started like getting out into the world really, um as an adult, I'm dating myself, I don't care, I'm 32 years old, and
So young.
um but I feel safer in the hood than I do where I live. Like there's always a little part of me, um when I get ready to go somewhere, that like there's a part of me that is just like praying that I don't have a cop car behind me.
Oh my
Even
God.
though I see much fewer of those here than I do in Dallas, like there's, if I see one, I just feel my heart drop.
Yeah, it's
Because of
scary.
experiences. Like it's not just like, oh, I seen this on TV and I hope it don't know. Because of actual experiences that I've had in my real life, I feel that. Um, it feels. We were moving, and my mother-in-law, like we were following each other, and I was following my mother-in-law. Well, my I was sitting in the car with my father-in-law. My mother-in-law was in front of us, and my partner was behind us, and there was a little incident in the road. Nothing crazy, just a dude that wanted to turn where she was trying to turn, just cut out in front of her, and he felt wrong. He felt like she should have stayed her ass where she was and just let him get by. And like it was one of those situations where y'all might both be mad, but if on the outside looking in, you don't really assign much wrongdoing. It was just, it happened. It's just like
Right.
if you was walking by somebody and you almost bumped into each other, but you didn't even almost hit each other. Um, but he made it a point to go after her blackness. Like he made it a point, and this is one of them things. Like I don't know, like I know I'm a pacifist. There's not very many things that make me like actually mad in my core. But I'm also a person who, when I do get mad, I go straight to throwing hands. I don't care about nothing else. That shit don't mean nothing. Like if you gonna talk or you gonna catch these hands. One of them's gonna happen regardless. That's me. But also, I've never been in this type of situation with these people. Um, if I hop out of this car, who knows what could happen,
Oh yeah.
and it'll be right in front of these people. But it was one of those moments where it was like, I feel like I need to do something to protect you. If he gets out of this car, I'm snapping.
Right.
And I look down, and my father-in-law is already reaching for something. So we on the same type of time. And because it was just one of those moments where he's talking about her naps, quote unquote. He's talking about like tatted, bald, talking about being a skinhead.
Oh my God.
And this is the neighborhood where we land our heads at.
That's scary. That's
It's I
so
feel
scary.
safer in the hood.
And I get that because you're around your people. I feel the same when I first moved back to Tennessee. I had so much anxiety about driving because like I'm in the South, right? And I was just afraid of getting pulled over. Like I would start having like breathing attacks, even if I'm not doing anything. I was afraid of getting pulled over. So, for example, today we went to go do recyclables, and my roommate forgot her driver's license. She's the one driving. We get to the store and she's like, "Oh, I don't have my wallet." And I was like, "But you have your license." And she's like, "No." And the fact that she was so calm about not having her license. I don't leave the house without making sure I have all of my stuff. There's
Mhm.
absolutely no way. And I was like, you see how calm you are? And it's really because you look white that you're not that worried about it. But me, I'm worried. I'm worried I might say something and then they might be having a bad day and then it's all
Mhm.
on me. And I'm not saying all cops are like this, but a cop will be willing to beat the crap out of a black person before they put their hands on a white person. And I already know that whole situation would have went completely different had we been pulled over and it was me who didn't have my license versus her not having her license.
And I'm sure we all met cool cops.
Yeah.
And I had a
Dallas, remember that
conversation.
time we were leaving San Antonio and I was speeding
Yeah.
and we were leaving Pack South and I was doing, I'm not gonna lie, I was tired. I was doing maybe 80, 85. I deserved a ticket. Kyle pulled us over. I was like, I looked at us, I was like, bro, I apologize, bro. Cause this is gonna be on me. Came around there, can I see your ID? He got an ID. And I told him where he was coming from. He was like, all right, man, y'all just make y'all slow down. I was like, yo, cause I was going 25 over. I deserved a ticket. But he saw two young. We were fairly young at the time.
Mhm.
Black men in the car, a rental car. We told them, "Hey, we're journalists." And maybe the
And we
journalist
still had
thing
our
is what led
badges
up.
on too.
Yeah, maybe the word
Maybe the
journalist.
badges and journalists. He's like,
Yeah.
they know that word? I know that sounds messed up, but you
You
know.
Maybe that's
usually
what saved us. Me using the word journalist and seeing those badges. So, but yeah, there are some cool ones out there. And
Yeah, there are. There's some, it's not cops, it's people. Okay. And I just want
yes,
to put that out there. It's not cops who are bad, it's people who are bad who happen to be cops.
and here's the thing
So,
about that though. For us, and I said this to a white man we was having a conversation with. He was asking questions about, oh well, why do y'all feel this way about this, and why do y'all every cop's not racist? And I told him this: for us, it's safer to assume that you are than you not.
yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Every encounter could mean I don't make it home.
It's
It's
true.
safer to assume that you are.
They
while we're
also
here,
teach them certain ways. Like, and that's just real. Like they teach them to approach black men differently than they teach them to approach white men. And a lot of people don't know that, but like that's how it is, especially in the South.
and before we leave, I won't give you a secret about me while on this topic. I am a back injury away from my life changing because I was actually police academy. I was about to be a cop, and I hurt my back, and it messed me up on my test, and I literally by a couple of points because I was hurting, and so it's just crazy how life because that's what telling what type of person I would be now. What I still see things the way I see them,
Mm.
would I see things differently. It's just those little things that happen, and I tie back to Ruby Bridges. Those things that happen in life that have a ripple effect.
That
Um,
butterfly effect.
yeah, it's crazy.
And I think it's guaranteed that you would, because us just being in games, and mind you, most of us have jobs outside of this. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, but just the time that we spend here, there's a culture here,
Yes.
and it does color the way you see the world. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably
Yes.
made us a lot more tolerant of a lot of things that our outside environment would suggest that we wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it would be guaranteed, and that butterfly effect thing, like I don't know if it was Ashton Kutcher or what that was on your
It was
side
Ashton
for that one.
Kutcher. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like that was like one of those meant to be moments, like those fateful moments.
Yeah. I'm sorry you hurt your back, but I'm glad that you're
Yeah,
here.
I, I'm
I am.
I'm I'm happy this was the road I was. I mean, this was the road I was always supposed to be on. So, but
Right?
I got no complaints. I got no regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna end this, but before we do, I had everybody pick a historical Black person, so I really don't want to miss the opportunity to ask Dallas who he picked for his
Oh man,
historical Black person.
just know I cheated, and somebody's gonna be pissed off. But once again, this is something I'm passionate about, and this is something that I mean from the bottom of my black ass heart. So I'm gonna say it. Um, I can't choose a dope ass 50-year-old spacefaring doctor. I can't really choose a little girl with more heart than grown ass men. And all of those are important, and I think all of these things tie together. And but once again, I am where I am in the world, and I see everything through that lens, for better or for worse, right? Um, that said, I want to give like a strong shout out, and I'm gonna name a few different names because I feel like it means something. Um, we How do I put it? The whole theme here, and I'm talking about it because it's actionable and it's happening and it needs to continue to happen. And if somebody is listening to this, you need to be one of these people too. Um, the whole theme is acceptance, and that only is going to happen with regular ass people um trying their best to do not so regular ass shit. And that's only going to happen with people like us that talk like me, that talk like you, people that that may or may not wear the Malcolm X glasses, people that like that watch Dragon Ball and rap about it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the
I
people
follow those
that
TikToks.
all that, you know what I mean? Like that right there. People like RDC World, sucks they had to pass 1 million before they saw a sponsorship. That's crazy. Most people don't have 100,000 before they get that skill share,
Right.
that Raid Shadow Legends, that whatever. Raid wants everybody. um it's crazy that a lot of the people that we know, shout out to Midas. um he's one of those people. Like, you are in a space that people are trying to get to, right? You are basically on um the UK version of G4 TV, like back when it was, I mean, it's still cool, but like back when it was cool, back when it was a phenomenon, right? You are what we want to be. So shout out to you if you're watching this. And you're one
Oh,
of
he
those
gonna
people,
watch it.
you one of those people that I'm mentioning because you still stay you still keep it true. You still talk like the man them. Like you say, you know what I mean? Like you still you, and you don't have to compromise, and you can just be wholly yourself. Shout out to Sincere from Gold Chain Gamers. Same exact thing. You can be wholly yourself, and I don't ever want you to change. I don't ever want you to be or even try. I know you won't, because I know you. I don't ever want you to be or try to be anything other than exactly what you are, because that's exactly what we need out here. I don't whoever is not sponsoring you, don't matter. Whoever is not like sending you codes or sending you love, really, because it's people like us that do care, and it's people like us that need you, and in we're new. We just got here. Gaming is young as hell, just as an industry. It's young as fuck. It just got here. And so we are basically at the forefront, at the frontier, if I can use that word, I guess,
Yeah.
of black games media. We are the beginning of this. And we are definitely the beginning of the ones that try to do it without, like, it's not all just the news. It's not just all us regurgitating the news and not being able to give our own opinions. We need to talk our shit. Beat your chest. Sorry to use a
Say it
gorilla
with your
reference, but I'm
chest.
I'm I'm dead serious about that. You need to do this. Quit being
Hmm.
humble. You ain't got to. You don't owe that to nobody. Real shit. You do
Absolutely.
not owe this to anybody. I know I'm preaching right now, but I mean every word I'm saying. People like who else? There's a few people. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Um, but like I wanted to mention Sincere because he embodies that. I wanted to mention Midas because he embodies that. Shout out to HipHopGamer. I want to mention him. I want to mention REDinFamy while we talking about it. She embodies that to the T. She's one of the realest people I've ever met in this industry. And I know there won't be a whole lot more like it. All the people that I'm talking about right now, I haven't met hip hop, so I can't really speak to him. But if Red is any indication, then I know he's right there. He's right here in the circle. All the people I mentioned are some of the realest people I've ever met in my life, and they are at points that other people like us would kill to be at. And we are currently making history, and we need to continue to push that. We need to continue to push forward because Ruby Bridges didn't go to that school for nothing.
Facts.
Like she didn't hear all that shit she had to hear, so you could get
Absolutely.
here and be like, oh, people don't like me, and keep it moving.
Right.
You know what I mean? We got a 50-year-old black woman. We got your auntie in space, literally driving the ship. Don't tell me
Absolutely.
you can't literally just be you out in public. All you got to do, and it has more impact than you actually know.
We have to stop conforming and just be who we are.
It does not
Absolutely.
matter. Like what matters is what's up here, what's in here, whether or not you actually are professional, whether or not you actually are good at what you do. Um, a lot of times, man, all you got to do is just be a person, the person that
Mm-hmm.
you are. And if you got a good heart, if you got a good foundation, it's gonna shine through. But I cannot leave here without telling all of those people who I just mentioned, and all the people like us, and all the people who we look up to like us, and for all the people that look up to y'all, just keep being you because that's how we get accepted. We make it undeniable.
Thank you.
Nice.
That was a
Well
good
said.
note to end
Well
on.
said.
That was really well
Indeed.
said. Thank you. But I echo the same sentiments. I know we all do here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we need to just be ourselves. And by being ourselves, show our true representation when
Mm-hmm.
we're out there on the screens. Because there's some little boy, some little girl who's looking at us, who's who we inspire. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? So moving on from that, we ran long, but these are the kind of conversations that need to be had. And I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to come on and talk with us. But
Thank you
for
so much.
anybody who doesn't know where to find you, Fame, please drop us some information. All those links will be at the bottom. For those of you who don't want to look it up, you can just click it. But just so they can hear it, where can we find you, Fame?
I'm everywhere at FameEnt2K, FameEnt2K. Not Famous Entertainment 2000 Dallas.
That sounds
Um,
appropriate.
if I'm not on my own socials, I run a lot of the LV1 gaming socials. So at LV1 Gaming, LV1gaming.com. And yeah, man, thank you guys for having me on. We're gonna do some amazing things between Level 1 and Burnout, and I can't wait for the world to see.
And Dallas, where can people find you if they want to find out more?
Man, literally every social place except Facebook because I don't trust it. Every social place except the metaverse is Dallazman, Dallaz man.
Man.
And if you following me, go ahead and follow anything Level 1. Just search Level 1. If somebody's got LV1 gaming in their bio, follow them because it's worth the follow.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for staying with us and supporting us here at Burnout Brighter. And please go over and support our big brother, Level 1 Gaming, because they are creating some amazing content. And it's just, I don't know, it's been such a pleasure. It's been a pleasure getting to know you guys over the past year. I feel like we're family. And I also feel like, man, we
Indeed.
haven't known each other that long, but it just clicked. It just works. It's just beautiful.
Works.
But that is it from us. We hope you enjoyed this episode and that you stick around for our roundtable that will be coming out in a couple of weeks, where we're going to have a bunch of Level 1 gaming content creators and people on along with us and a very special guest. So thank you again, Burnout Brighter listeners and people who follow us and support us. We love you, and we will catch you in the next episode.
Later.
Deuces.